All right, I'm so excited to speak to our guest today. She is a family nurse practitioner that specializes in aesthetics. Please help me to introduce FNP Crystal.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No problem. So excited to have you on the show today. I'm sure everybody's going to learn a lot from this interview. All right, Crystal. Now, I want to dive into our first question. I always ask my guests before I dive into like the hard questions. How have they been? How has it been since COVID-19? How has that impacted
Oh,
you by chance?
I love that question, actually. So, I am a family nurse practitioner, but I have 10 years of psych experience. So, this whole
Amazing.
COVID thing has been an interesting study in humans, right?
Wow.
So, with COVID, I've actually seen an increase in new people coming in to get facial aesthetics done. We're now faced with seeing ourselves up close and personal on screens on a daily basis, and that changes how people view themselves and the things that they want to do. So we are seeing an uptick in our new patient population, people coming in for the first time going, hey, I'm seeing all these wrinkles and lines on my face every day when I'm in meetings. I look tired and people are asking me if I'm okay. So what can I do about it? So it's actually been a very interesting um, take in the aesthetic industry.
And that's a good point because people are looking at themselves all day. So it's like an intake. I'm sure it's an intake. So that is amazing. Now let's tell the audience, because I'm sure the audience wants to know tell them where you're located at.
I'm in Utah. I'm in just near Salt Lake City, Utah.
Nice, nice. How is the aesthetic industry out there by chance? Because I'm located in Miami, and the aesthetic industry is like the capital down here. But I would love to know a little bit kind of how it is in Utah.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, Utah has a very high aesthetic industry. We're one of the
Wow.
top locations in the nation for plastic surgeries. So it's something that's very common here. Oftentimes, I'll travel to Pacific Northwest, and it's just such a different feel from here. We're more like an LA here than like a Pacific Northwest. So plastic surgery, aesthetic industry is something very popular here, very competitive industry because there are so many clinics, so many plastic surgeons here.
Wow,
So,
wow, amazing, amazing. So how did you get started in the aesthetic industry? I would love to rewind back and kind of take us to the beginning. How did you get started in the aesthetic industry?
oh, this is such a unique entry point for me. Most people don't come into it this way. But basically, it was through my own transformation. I
Wow.
was a young nurse working on an oncology unit, working night shifts. I'd just gone through nursing school, tons of studying, and apparently it was visible on my face, all of that hard work. I'd started my shift with this elderly gentleman who had just had some surgery and radiation, was in a lot of pain. I got his pain managed and under control initially and said, okay, use your call light, let me know when you're ready for more pain medication and we can do that. So time went by and I didn't hear from him, so I went back to check, and he was in visible pain. He was shaking. He hadn't used the call light to call for pain medication. And I asked, why not? I had the cognizance at that time to try and figure out what had prevented him from using the call light. And he said, well, you looked stressed out. And he went just like this and pointed to the lines on his face and said, you just looked really crunchy here and stressed and overwhelmed. And to me, that was a wake up call. I didn't
Mhm.
feel stressed and overwhelmed at the time. It was the beginning of my shift. And I had my face wasn't reflecting what he was seeing. And I realized it was impacting my relationships and my work. I went out the very next week and started getting Botox injections for myself. And that's what
Wow.
kind of introduced me into this industry. Like, I was a sports girl. I grew up without makeup. I grew up on a farm, and this was completely foreign to me. But it changed my life. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have that experience and the opportunity to introspect about what message my face was sending to others and the important relationships in my life.
Wow, wow, that's really a good story because I talked to some injectors and they have all these reasons why they got into aesthetics, but to really like dig deep within yourself and kind of understand, hey, this is something I want to change inside of myself, and this is my passion. I want to experience it with others and give that to others is amazing. You know, that's a really a connecting story, and it's your why. So that's really great. And I
Yeah.
wanted to oh yeah, no, for sure. And I wanted to connect that kind of to what you said before about psychology, real quick. Do you think it has helped you with that advantage overall? Because like you putting these things together, you really understanding these things, do you think it really helps you when you speak to your patients?
Oh, absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. When I look at my grandpa or my grandma, I used to fear my grandpa, like as a child or a younger person, not understanding what age does to a person, and it's just simply age, not who they are. And I have many clients who are coming into me and saying, before I started getting my injections, I was the sad grandma or the mean grandpa, and their family was hesitant to interact with them. And whether we understand it all or not, we have facial mappings that are established in infancy, even before we can talk, that protect us, that tell us it's safe to approach, it's safe to ask for a request, or things like that. We understand to learn our mother's expressions, and those pathways that are ingrained into the brain don't just dissolve as adults. We have someone where we will look at them and we might withhold a question because, or a request because of the look on their face, or we just tend to naturally like someone better because of their appearance. And those aren't things that we're trying to be judgmental or not. That's our hind brain controlling us. Those are pathways that are really hard to overcome. And if you understand that piece of psychology, you can really look at this from a viewpoint of, this isn't just trying to make me look pretty, or younger. This is really something that can impact people's way they relate with other humans.
Wow. Wow, that was great. That was truly great because that makes so much sense, but I've never thought about that way. That's amazing. That's really amazing. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper into your experience. So you started as an RN, you're working on the floor, and then how did you get to there to kind of where you're at now?
I love that question. So it took me a minute to find the right injector. I saw 3 or 4 injectors and had injections before I knew I had found the right injector for me. And thank God for that injector. She she nurtured me. She met me where I was. I just wanted to treat these lines. I didn't want to come in and have my entire face done. But as that relationship grew and I saw my own transformation, I felt a fire light within me like no other. I could see the potential for helping people, um, feel what I felt, and feel the transformation that I felt, and I wanted to give that to other people. And my injector was so good. She just would encourage me and tell me about all the latest and greatest treatments that she was learning. So I had this real medical mind and the science mind trying to understand the whole anti-aging piece of it. And she just pushed me a little bit at a time. Go take a class. Yes, you can do this. And that's ultimately how I ended up in this industry. Is that she knew of a class that was opening up. She said, "Take this class. You won't regret it." And I signed up for the class and never looked back.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. How long did it take you to get comfortable with? Because I speak to a lot of injectors and they're like, "Oh, I'm so scared. Like, I don't know, like when I should be on my own. Like, and I know kind of your similar you were taking classes, then you kind of like went into the field. How do you know when you're kind of comfortable to kind of begin?
It it took me a solid year to just feel comfortable and know that I was safe. That's the biggest thing. As an injector, you're going into that, and you know so much can go wrong and those complications can go wrong. And it took me about a year of seeing some complications and knowing how to manage them, having the opportunity to have things happen and then manage it, to feel confident, like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and even if something does go wrong, I know how to manage it. So it takes some time. And the key thing is being patient and not getting off that horse when you get bucked off, right? You got to get back on, you got to try again, you try something new. And you surround yourself with a team of experts that you can always go to, people who know more than you. If you think you know everything, you're in the wrong industry. Everything evolves so fast and changes so fast. You need to keep up, but you always need to have someone who has a higher level of expertise in you than you in some area that you can go to and draw on so that you can feel comfortable doing more and more on your own.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow. And everybody I speak to say the same thing. Training, training, training is very important to become the best. What are some trainings that you go to or you could recommend to maybe a new injector or someone that's experienced that wants some more education?
I really love the A4M, American Association for Anti-Aging Medicine. That is just, it's so cutting edge. It's like, it literally is where science meets fiction in real life. So things that we think aren't possible are so much closer than you think. That organization I'm a member of, and I just really like the content that they provide, the ongoing training. You can do online trainings, you can do live trainings. There's so much to offer there, and many other organizations as well, like American Med Spa. They hold a conference every year that has breakout sessions. Um, I even encourage like international trainings. It's one thing as a
Mm.
Caucasian middle-aged female to know how to treat Caucasian middle-aged females, but not every client is that. And how you treat someone who is Asian or Latina is very different than how I would treat someone of my own ethnicity. And it's important to have that diversity and that diverse skill set to be able to treat people naturally according to their own ethnicity. So don't just stick local, don't just stick national, but get some international training as well.
That is such a really good point that you just mentioned. And I think a lot of people do understand that, but I think a lot of newer providers don't understand that because, it could be a format of a way you treat a patient. But if there's different ethnicities, different people that you're seeing on a daily basis, they're going to be wanting to treat it differently and they might have different problems, I assume. So it's very important, like you said, to get so much training in different areas, I would assume. So that's a really good tip. Um, any outside training out of the country that you would recommend by chance?
It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. There's
Yeah.
specialty things like if you want a Russian lip or, it's hard to specify that one.
Okay. 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 So new injectors, I'm sure, reach out to you all the time, trying to break into the industry. What are some key tips that you would give them to break into the industry or to really hit the ground running?
Okay, that's a good question. One thing you might not be aware of is that when you are taking a training, we are always scoping you. We're looking for new talent. We're looking for excellent talent. So when I'm teaching my course, that's always a factor. I'm not just there teaching you to go somewhere else, but I'm actually evaluating you to see if you would be a good fit for the needs of my company. See if you have, you know, the skills that it takes for and a good match for the things that we provide. So when you're taking courses, know that people are looking at you for talent, and don't hesitate to bring that conversation up and say, hey, what are you looking for in your injectors? Do you have any positions that are open? And then networking. When you go to those trainings, you're talking to other people. You're not just going there to learn, but that networking piece is so important. This can be a very, very challenging industry to break into. I got it by dumb luck through my injector. But networking really seems to be the way to go as far as wanting to get into the industry. Knowing the right people, having that kind of a relationship, having them take a chance on you and develop your skill.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Networking is key. Network, network, network. Now, I know you mentioned your courses. Can you tell us a little bit more about your courses that you offer or that you teach?
Yeah, I'm really excited. So I teach a course called Injectology. I'm an owner in this company. So we are really developing it right now. We have this basic injection course that we've taught for 3 years now. It's a fabulous course. I love seeing my students go through there. I have some students who've actually become quite popular at other spas, at competing spas, right? So, but to me, that is a delight. And that is just, I love encouraging other people and seeing their success. But something that we're bringing into our injection course is an advanced course. So we're starting an advanced course where we're going to actually take our students in the classroom. we're learning the didactic portion, we're learning the safety, the anatomy, and then we're doing the hands-on injecting. But while we're doing the hands-on injecting, we're having rotations where they can go in with a plastic surgeon into the OR and actually peel back the layers of the face and look and see those planes on a live living human being, not on a cadaver. So it's very different when you're looking at a cadaver and the color distortion and changes that happen than when it is on a real person. And so having that opportunity of going right into the OR with a surgeon while you're learning it is going to be a fabulous, fabulous skill to have.
Wow, no, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. I check out some trainings here and there to recommend, and that is wow. You guys do a lot, and I'm sure injector, new injector, or experienced injector can even learn a lot from that program. Amazing. Now I wanted to dive in a little bit to your social media. Now, social media has become one of the biggest things, especially for the aesthetic community. I see. Tell me, how has social media helped you in your business?
Social media is just a walking advertisement. It's a place for you to have your before and afters out there. It's also a place for you to be real and to be human. Like people can get to know me through social media before I've ever met them. I have so many people come in and talk to me like we have known each other for years. I've never met them, but they know me through social media, through my content. They're comfortable with me already before they even get into my injection chair. They already know who I am. They know the kind of work that I do, and they know my personality a little bit too. So it's a very important part of building your business. It can expand you well beyond any like local advertising that you can do. I have people that are coming in from out of state to see me. I would never have reached them with my local advertising.
Wow. Yeah, no, social media is key. I see, and that's amazing. I see you have over 10,000 followers and you make these amazing videos that are very engaging. How hard was it to kind of, I guess, come up with all of that to really get the traction going?
That is such a good question. I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you. Truth bomb. I am a very severe introvert. So I'm very introverted. This is not natural for me. It's not like I said, I'm a little farm girl from a small town in Idaho. None of this is natural to me. I've had to hire that out. So I have hired people who are experts in this field to coach me, to help me. So they help me with my content. Really, a lot of that is not my own. I provide the content that's medical facts. I know what I'm doing, that kind of thing. But as far as social media goes, it's not my jam. I hire people to help me who know more than I do in that area.
But it's worth it must be worth the investment though. If it was like if social media has
Absolutely.
gotten that big. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's necessary. If you don't have social media in this industry, I don't see it being a successful career for you.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree. Definitely agree. Okay, amazing, amazing. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about your patients and who you see in the field. So a lot of times I speak to providers and they say, "Hey, I get patients in that want to get like overfilled, or maybe aren't technically what they would like to do." How do you treat or how do you go about patients that are maybe over your guidelines or want something that you're not comfortable with?
Well, I start with education.
Okay.
I start, if they come in and they say, I want more lips or I want more cheeks, I ask more questions. What is it that you're trying to accomplish with more lips? What is it that you think you will gain by the cheek? And I'm looking at the entire face as a whole. Sometimes when they come in and they say, I just want these lines filled here, that's just a problem of the whole face descending. And you can fill in here and then look really overfilled like a Who from Whoville. But if they don't understand that, they don't understand that it's volume loss in the posterior side of the face and that restoring the volume loss in the posterior side of the face will correct that more naturally and beautifully, they'll just come in and ask for those things. So education, guiding the treatment, and if ultimately what they're seeking is not something I can provide, I am the first person to refer them out. I'll refer them to a surgeon. I'll refer them to an injector that fits their style more because I know injectors Some like to overfill and they really like that look. And it's a preference. I'm not going to say it's a right or a wrong. I just can recognize when I'm not the injector for them, and I do not hesitate to refer them. There are plenty of people that I'm the right injector for, and I will keep them all day long and refer out ones that need some other kind of care or treatment.
Gotcha. Amazing. Amazing. That's really great. So I want to talk a little bit more about social media. I know I skipped that a little bit, but I want to go back real quick. Can you name some people that you follow on social media that would be great for the audience maybe to follow? Maybe they have good technique, or maybe they're just really, you like their social media.
Yes. So now I have to try and remember their Instagram handles or their handles. So my mentor, my injector, is Lauren Mitchell, and I can pull these up. I don't, I,
Yes,
it's like a phone number. You don't dial it every day, so you don't know it.
exactly.
And then Injections by Jillian. She's another aesthetic injector that I work with personally. She has some incredible work out there. Um, and then plenty of plastic surgeons, Dr. Ronaldo Saltz. Plastic surgeons are a good place to follow. Plastic surgeons that also offer aesthetics in their clinic. They're good to follow. So Jillian Brooke Aesthetics. Bear with me here.
You're totally fine. And we're gonna drop those below on the video
That's a
also.
good
So
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we're gonna drop those below so you don't have to do that. But yeah, so follow those people though. Those people are gonna help you. I'm sure you've got great advice, or you found great things to learn from them.
Yeah,
Amazing,
and
amazing.
oftentimes, if it's other clinics, they're posting that they want some help or they're looking to bring on a new injector. So it's a good way to find potential opportunities for employment. It's a good place to find new techniques that are coming out or classes that are being offered, is just by following these people that are more experienced than you are.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, always learning. Now I know new things are always coming out in the aesthetic industry. What is your favorite new thing, new technique to kind of try with patients or teach patients or introduce to patients?
So I always say my favorite technique or procedure is the one that's right for the person who's sitting in my chair at that moment.
Yes, I
So
like that.
I have a vast tool belt and techniques and products and different things that I use. There's no one cookie cutter right way to do it. My injection style tends to be more of the permanent solutions and the natural solutions. So biostimulators that are going to stimulate your body to regrow its own tissue. I'm really big on that. Permanent solutions that are going to get a jawline snatched without having to retreat. So those are the kind of things that I lean towards, is permanent natural solutions.
Amazing, amazing. So I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking a little bit more about your passions of aesthetics. I'm sure everybody that's watching is going to learn so much from this interview and gain so much knowledge. Crystal, can you tell us a little bit kind of where you're at right now, what you have going on for the future, and where everyone can find you?
I'm at Beautified by Crystal on Instagram. I am the medical director at Spa Treve, and I also have the injectology course. So there are exciting things coming up with the injection course. I'm really excited to start offering some unique things as far as injection instruction goes. So you can look for those. Just follow me on Instagram and you'll find out more details as they come along.
Amazing, amazing. Crystal, I actually have one more question because you just said that, and I was like, I have to dig deeper into this. So you could become a medical director in your state. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm a nurse practitioner in
Yeah,
Utah. We have full practice authority. So
amazing.
I can manage a clinic. I can manage my own clinic. I can manage other nurses. I have a medical license to hold on file for all of the things that are necessary for a med spa.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's why it's such important to know your kind of your state laws. Because like for example, down here in Florida, you couldn't do something like that. But in Utah, it's definitely acceptable. So that's amazing. That's really great. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. Well, until next time, thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. See you.